When it comes to placing carefully thought-out Easter eggs, Disney Animation Studios goes for the win. And when we think of Disney, we think of their longtime mascot, Mickey Mouse. The cartoon mouse has been a Disney staple for close to a century. At this point, Mickey Mouse is one of the world's most easily recognizable and acclaimed characters. So how many Mickeys have you spotted in Disney films? We're counting down our favorite 6 well-placed Mickeys. Let's get started. First up, how many Mickeys did you spot in Aladdin? Disney's adaptation of the popular Chinese folktale Aladdin became the highest-grossing animated film of 1992. That's right, the Middle Eastern folk legend comes from Chinese origins. Aladdin holds a special place in our hearts for a multitude of reasons. Jasmine redefined princess stereotypes, the hilarious side characters, and one of Robin Williams' most iconic voiceover roles. Aladdin was Disney's 31st release, making one of the earlier movies released by the production house. Not surprisingly, Disney wanted to incorporate as much of their trademark in the film as they could, and they did. The most obvious reference to the production house comes toward the end of the film when Jafar is defeated in battle and his spell is broken. Raja, Jasmine's loving and fiercely protective pet tiger, turns into a tiger once again, but not before he is hilariously transformed into other characters, one of which has 2 round ears, an easily distinguishable laugh, and a close association to Disney. But that wasn't the only hidden Mickey in Aladdin. A patch on Aladdin's pants, and as a fruit display in the local bazaar. Next up, did Disney incorporate Mickey and Friends in The Little Mermaid? Walt Disney spares no detail when it comes to designing and showcasing perfectly thought-out animation backgrounds. The background characters and scenes in Disney films are intricate and frankly very well placed. But given their crazy attention to detail, it comes as no surprise the production house tries to sneak in an Easter egg or 2 in their movies whenever they can. The Little Mermaid is probably the best example. At the very start of the film, when Triton's daughters are putting on a show for the people of Atlantis, the frame moves to Triton standing over his people as they cheer for the princesses. The frame lasts for less than a couple of seconds, but eagle-eyed fans notice 3 people who didn't look like they belonged under the sea: Mickey Mouse, Goofy, and Donald Duck. Disney took the time out to introduce not 1, not 2, but 3 of their trademarked characters in the animated film. Would you like to know another interesting fact about The Little Mermaid? Ariel is the only Disney princess who has a second film dedicated to her daughter, also a princess. On that note, she's the only Disney princess with a daughter. On to, how many Mickeys were there in The Hunchback of Notre Dame? Disney's The Hunchback of Notre Dame is based on Victor Hugo's novel of the same name. The 1996 animated musical film is well regarded as being the darkest Disney film to have ever been produced. Notwithstanding the fact that Hugo's novelization surrounded much darker themes, the film had to edit out a lot of features to maintain a G rating. The film surrounds Quasimodo, a bell ringer living inside of the bell tower after his ableist father Frodo condemns him to living a lonely life on account of his physical appearance. Much of the film takes place inside of the bell tower, and you'd think it'd be a difficult feat to feature a lively character such as Mickey Mouse into this film. Disney made it happen. Throughout the film, eagle-eyed fans noticed 3 circles forming the cartoon mouse's outline, carefully crafted into the bell tower's architecture. Just goes to show, there's nothing the animators at Disney Studios can't do when they put their minds to it. Let's talk about how difficult it was to spot Mickeys in 101 Dalmatians. How many Mickeys did you spot in 101 Dalmatians? Like most people, you wouldn't remember spotting any Mickeys in the film. Yeah, it's pretty hard to spot Mickey. Did you see what we just did there? The answer's in the spots. 101 Dalmatians is a fan favorite for several reasons. The film features adorable puppies, has a compelling storyline that gives every character their moment in the sun, and is altogether a great film for its soundtrack and plot. Notwithstanding the fact that the film's antagonist, Cruella de Vil, is regarded as one of the most hated Disney characters of all time. The movie is one of Disney's finest works ever. So, how many Mickeys were featured in 101 Dalmatians? 101 times. Every Dalmatian in the film had a unique array of spots over their bodies, but not unique enough. If you notice carefully, all of the puppies have spots arranged in 3s, the right number of circles to make Disney's trademarked character. But this isn't the first time Disney's incorporation of Mickey Mouse has made us do a double take. In Mulan, Shang's horse also has 2 clusters of spots arranged in 3s over his coat. Spotting Mickey in Disney-backed productions isn't as simple as spotting a cartoon mouse. Most films feature 3 circles outlining the character's head and round ears. In The Little Mermaid, the bubbles are used to make out some shapes multiple times. We're moving on to, did you spot the crafted Mickey in Geppetto's shop in Pinocchio? The 1940 musical animated fantasy film Pinocchio became Disney's second feature animated film after Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. The film is based on an 1883 Italian folktale of the same name. Pinocchio tells us a story of a wooden boy whose goal is to turn into a real boy someday. His only hurdle? The blue fairy made sure that Pinocchio's nose would grow 2 sizes larger every time he fibs. This makes for an entertaining 2 hours. The 1940s audiences did not spot Mickey in the film, but Disney enthusiasts set out on a mission to discover as many Easter eggs as they could, and as it turns out, there's one in Pinocchio as well. After the blue fairy turns Pinocchio into a wooden boy, Geppetto is temporarily distracted and doesn't notice when his wooden child accidentally catches fire. In the midst of Geppetto trying to put out the fire, we see an all too familiar chair in his studio. The shape of the chair makes out Disney's character Mickey Mouse. Again, a well-placed Easter egg we didn't catch on when watching the movie the first time. Finding Mickeys is a great excuse to binge watch Disney movies again. Lastly, how clever were the hidden Mickeys in Dumbo? Pinocchio was the second feature released by Disney and Fantasia was the third. While both movies received positive reviews from critics, they didn't pan out well in theaters. At least not as well as Disney had hoped. Cue Dumbo, the shortest Disney film ever released, which was essentially made and distributed to cut the production house's losses after its preceding 2 films. Interestingly, Disney's attempt at a laid-back film with minimal plot twists and straightforward animation became a fan favorite. Dumbo has since been recognized as a cultural heritage in film and arts. But did you manage to glimpse a Mickey in the film? Dumbo pays homage to a cartoon mouse of its own with Jumbo Jr.'s best friend, Timothy. In one scene, Timothy accidentally falls into a barrel of champagne and emerges hiccuping bubbles. The bubbles form a group of 3, and we all know what that means, an ode to Mickey Mouse. At another point in the movie, Jumbo Jr.'s mother is bathing him, and the water bubbles form clusters in 3s, which make out the shape of Mickey Mouse's head and round ears again. Bonus, have other production houses nodded at Disney with their Easter eggs? Pixar is perhaps Disney's leading competitor when it comes to releasing animated films. The production house is known for producing the likes of Toy Story, WALL-E, Cars, Up, Monsters Inc., and The Incredibles. Pixar incorporates Easter eggs of their own in their films, but in Toy Story, they incorporated Disney's synonymous character, Mickey Mouse. Andy's room features a collection of Easter eggs, including an all-too-familiar character on the wall. Featured in the center of Andy's wall clock is Mickey Mouse. The Easter egg is discreet, as most are, and many fans had to rewatch the scene to catch a glimpse of the cartoon mouse. Once they made out the character, it was a surprise that they missed him in the first place. Other notable Mickeys in animated films include Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Hercules, Fantasia, Bambi, Cinderella, Peter Pan, Sleeping Beauty, Robin Hood, The Fox and the Hound, Tron, Oliver and Company, Beauty and the Beast, The Lion King, Pocahontas, and Tangled. Alright, that's all for today's video on 6 most cleverly hidden Mickeys in Disney animated movies plus 1 bonus Pixar film. How many of these Easter eggs did you find on your first try? How many required a second look? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content. We'll see you back soon with another fun and informative video.